And so in this video we are going to see the must study topics for BEL EAT examination, which is going to happen very soon. Okay, so there is a recruitment happening from BEL for engineering assistant trainees, which is actually for diploma candidates, and also for technician, which is for ITI candidates. Okay, so here we are going to see the must study topics from electronics branch for the EAT examination. Okay, that is for diploma people. Okay, so if you see the examination pattern, actually I have done a separate video on the syllabus and exam pattern for BEL EAT examination for electronics and electrical branch. Okay, so I'll link that video in description, and also you can see the link now here. Okay, so the separate video is there for syllabus and exam pattern. Here we are going to see actually the must study topics from electronics specially. But again, I'm going to give you a very brief of what is going to happen in the examination. Okay, so the examination is actually consisting of two parts. There is part 1, which is a generic area, and there is 50 marks questions will be there from part 1. Okay, so part 1 is actually comprising of the aptitude, reasoning, analytical reasoning, verbal reasoning, then data interpretation, general knowledge. All these areas is covered under the part 1. There is 50 marks examination going to happen from part 1. Okay, part 2 is completely your technical subject. 100 marks is from your part 2, which is your technical subject of your respective diploma branch. Okay, so we are here in this video concentrating on this 100 marks. That is which all topics you should study for sure, or must study topics for this 100 marks. Okay, so that is your part 2 topics we are going to see for the electronics branch. Okay, so the subjects for the electronics branch, so this is actually a diploma level of examination. So the subjects that you should not skip is these subjects. I've actually listed out the subjects based on their importance. Okay, so this is actually not the entire syllabus. If you talk about the total syllabus, you have to study all your important subjects from your diploma. But again, if you take the weightage of various subjects, the most important ones are these. Okay, first one is basic electronics, second one digital electronics, third one analog electronics, fourth one EMI, which is electronic measurement and instrumentation. Especially for all diploma examinations, this subject is very important. Okay, EMI subject, electronic measurement and instrumentation. Then fifth one is microcontroller and microprocessor, again a very important subject. Sixth one is analog communication. Seventh one, network theory. Then eighth one is antenna. Then radar. Then optical communication, computer networks, EDC, electronic devices and circuits. Then lastly, EMFT. Okay, so I have tried to arrange the subjects based on their importance. Okay, the most important ones I have tried to list out in the beginning. Then likewise I have tried to make an order. Okay, so these subjects at least you should cover the all important topics to get through this examination, or for scoring maximum in the part 2. Okay, that is for the 100 marks. Okay, next let us see which are the important topics from these subjects that you should study. Next we are going to see the important topics from these subjects which I have listed out. Which all topics, at least these topics you should study. Okay, other topics also are important, but at least this much of topics or these topics you should cover before attending the examination. And before going into the subjects, I want to tell you that recently an examination happened for Keltron for engineer and trainee engineer, and a lot of people commented that our MCQ videos were very useful. A lot of questions has actually come for the examination from the MCQ videos and the syllabus and the must study topics. So I'm really actually glad to share with you that those videos were useful. Okay, so here next we are going to see the important topics. Okay, from the first subject, which is basic electronics, it is actually the base of your electronics branch, so you cannot skip this subject. So from the basic electronics, you should be studying all the important components, that is active components and passive components. Okay, all the important components, their working structure, everything is important. Okay, then also we know that for all the components there are some basic equations. For example, capacitor, if you take, there is an equation. For resistance or resistor, there is a relation which is Ohm's law. So these relations are also important. You should study the relation of various terms or variables in these equations, how the variation of one variable is affecting the other, And also you should practice more problems connected with this basic equations. Okay, these are important. Next, semiconductor theory and the questions related to the semiconductor theory. For example, intrinsic semiconductor, holes, electrons, then extrinsic semiconductors, then the energy levels, Fermi level, all these are important ones. Okay, so these are the important topics which I have listed out from the basic electronics subject. Okay, next subject is digital electronics. Digital electronics and analog electronics, both are very, very important subjects. First one is digital electronics. So from the digital electronics itself, there is a lot of questions can come because mostly all areas are very important only. First one is number systems. So the number system conversions, finding the base, all these are very important. Then logic gate questions, Boolean equation simplifications, various Boolean theorems, De Morgan's law, applying of De Morgan's law for simplifying a given equation, all these are important. Then questions connected with mux, demux, that can be theory questions in connection with the select lines, the number of select lines or the number of inputs to outputs, all these. Or it can be some tricky question. They'll be actually describing you a circuit. You have to identify that which is that circuit. Actually, I've seen this type of question. That's why I'm sharing. Okay. Then demux, same with demux. Then encoder, decoder, and also from mux and demux there can be also small numerical type of questions. Okay. Then flip-flops is a very important area for theory and also for small questions. Okay. Then adders and subtractors, theory question only. Then ADC and DAC, again there can be numerical questions also, that is finding the voltage level or the bits of ADC or a resolution of the ADC. These type of questions can come. Okay, so that's all about the subjects, that is the topics from digital electronics subject. Again, it is a very important subject, so try to cover these subjects first. Okay, so if you have not yet started the preparation, try to cover these subjects first. Okay, then next one is analog electronics. Actually, all the topics from analog electronics are very important. Amplifiers, oscillators, Schmidt trigger, op-amp. Op-amp is a very important area. Then clippers, clampers. Then, so if you take these clippers and clampers, there can be theory question and also there will be some waveforms given to you. You have to, and there will be a circuit given to you. You have to identify how the shape of the waveform is getting affected or what will be the output waveform coming. Okay, these type of questions you can expect. And from the op-amp area, there is actually a lot of theory questions because there is a lot of characteristics with the op-amp. Various types of op-amp is there. There is various configurations, inverting, non-inverting, summing, subtractor, differential amplifier. This type of various configurations is there, right? And also along with each configuration, there is some theory concepts associated. So you should be studying all the configurations, and also numerical questions can come from the op-amp area. Okay, so these type of questions are very important, and these are the most frequently seen type of questions in the competitive examination papers. Okay, so that's why I'm sharing. So if you want to study these topics, there is a separate playlist area where you can find the videos on analog electronics. There is a separate playlist created for analog electronics and also for digital electronics and all the important subjects which we are going to see today. Okay, so there is separate playlist for all the important subjects. So you can find the numerical questions and also the theory question videos. Numerical question videos are there, and also theory question and also theory concept videos are there. Okay, so if you want to have a look, please go to the playlist session and have a look. Okay, next one, EMI, that is electronic measurement and instrumentation. So if you take the diploma examinations, you can actually see a lot of questions coming from this area or this subject. So which all areas you have to study? Actually, all the areas are important. Then transducers, ammeters, voltmeters. If you list out, you can say these topics. Okay. Then CRO, DSO, the working of CRO, DSO, the structures, all these are important. And the waveforms which we give on the both axes, that is horizontal deflection plate, vertical deflection plate. Actually, you should study the structure and working of both this oscilloscopes, that is CRO and DSO. And also the ammeter, voltmeter, they are working everything. Then various measuring instruments, their CARA, their errors in that instruments. Then and also finding the errors in the components like resistors, inductors, capacitors. the tolerance value, how the error is affecting the measurement in current, resistance, all these are important. Okay. So EMI is a very important subject. Next subject is microprocessor and microcontroller. So from the recent Kiltron examination which has happened, we could understand that a lot of questions are actually asked from this microprocessor and microcontroller area, and mainly the questions were from memory, the various instruction sets, then architectures, that is the IC structure or the architecture of the microcontrollers and microprocessor, mainly 8051 and 8085. Okay, because mostly the universities have included the 8051 and 8085 in their curriculum. Okay, so all these are very important, and also the registers, special function registers, the pins, then the address bus width, the data bus width, memory transactions, then, and also if you could study the basics of embedded systems, it is very important area nowadays. So embedded system basics and also the components, all these things are important. And if you could study some small assembly language coding, some basic ones, okay, some code snippets, solving of some code snippets, again that is very beneficial. Okay, so these type of areas or these topics you should study from the microcontroller and microprocessor. Next one is analog communication. Okay, so analog communication again is a important subject. So the topics that you should be studying is AM, PM, FM, and also problems mainly come from the AM and FM area, and the problems are mainly focusing on finding of either carrier power or finding the total power or finding the modulation index. Okay, so there is actually a power equation for AM, there is a PT equation, there is a total power equation in terms of modulation index and carrier power, right? So you have to study that equation. It is a very important equation, and also you should practice problems coming from this area, okay, that is using this equation. So that is, these are important areas. Next one is super heterodyne receiver, the structure and of the super heterodyne receiver and the working, and also there will be questions from that is numerical questions will be connected with the frequencies, that is the image frequency, intermediate frequency, local oscillator frequency, all these areas. Okay, so these type of questions again is very commonly seen in the competitive examination question papers. Okay, so please do practice these areas. Next one, network. Network is actually a problematical kind of subject. You can expect mostly numerical questions from the network, that is nodal analysis, mesh analysis, KCL, KVL, then finding of voltage, current, solving for the value of voltage or current in any branch or passing through any component, and also various theorems, that is Thevenin's theorem, Norton's theorem, superimposition theorem, all these are very important. Okay, so that is from network. Next subject I have included is antenna. Okay, antenna is again a subject where you can expect some numerical questions, small numerical questions connected with mostly with the power or directivity. Okay, mostly these areas they are concentrating for numericals. And the other important areas are the types of antennas, various parameters of antennas, and all the important equations. Okay, so these areas you should be covering from antenna. Next one is radar. Radar, the most important part is radar range equation. So either there can be numerical questions coming from the range equation, or there can be questions connecting with the two variables in the range equation. That is how the variation of one variable is affecting the other variable. And also there are various types of radars. You should be studying that, and also the Doppler effect. These are the most important areas from radar. Next one is optical communication. Okay, so optical communication, you should be studying questions with, there is questions from refractive index, numerical aperture, Snell's law, then the various phenomena happening in optical fibers, reflection, refraction, and also single mode fiber, multi-mode fiber, step index, graded index. All these are important areas. Okay. Next subject is computer network. So various computer network topologies, LAN, MAN, WAN, then network topologies, TCP, IP model and OSI model is very, very important. Then Internet Protocol version 4 and version 6. Okay, so these are the topics that I have included from computer networks. Next one is EDC. EDC, the most important area from EDC is actually Zener diodes. Okay, Zener diode theory and also numerical questions. Both are important. You should be practicing both. Next, other components are MOSFET, BJT, then again PN junction diode, tunnel diodes. All these areas you should be studying. And also you can expect numerical questions from BJT and also MOSFET. Okay. So these are the areas from EDC. Again in EDC you are covering the semiconductor theory basics also. Okay. So all these areas you should be studying from EDC. That is electronic devices and circuits. The last subject that I have included is EMFT, that is electromagnetic field theory. So from electromagnetic field theory you should be studying the electromagnetic wave basics, various properties of EM waves, sky waves, ground waves, various phenomena of this waves, that is reflection, refraction, all these terms. And also you should be studying the Maxwell's equation theory only. All these areas theory you should be studying. Okay. Next one, transmission lines. You can expect numerical questions also from transmission lines. Okay. Then waveguide also, theory questions only from the waveguide. Okay. So these areas you should be studying from the electromagnetic field theory. Okay. So these are the topics and these are the subjects that I've included for as a must study subjects for the EIT examination, that is engineering assistant trainee examination. Okay, so a lot of people has actually asked for this video. So because when I uploaded the video on the syllabus and the exam pattern, a lot of people has actually mentioned regarding the important topics video. So these topics are the most important topics. Again, if you cover the entire syllabus, it will be very easy for you to crack the examination. But at least you should study this much of topics. Okay, and these subjects you cannot skip. Okay. So that's all for this video. I'm really hoping that you found the video useful. Okay, so if you found the video useful, please do give it a thumbs up. Also share it with your friends who's preparing for the EIT examination. And if you want more videos, please do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and keep on watching.